Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. I want you to cast your minds back to, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago maybe, when Frank Warren was, bleeding money, hemorrhaging money with Box Nation. And Eddie Hearn was flying high with Sky Sports. And Eddie had resurrected pay-per-view. Managed to do that after it died a death with a couple of the Hay pay-per-views, the Klitschko and the Audie Harrison debacle. And Hearn had, gradually introduced pay-per-view again. Obviously, the price went up because that's the way they do it. They lure you in, give you a lot of value for money, and then gradually the value for money wanes a little bit. And, but basically the public acceptance is that pay-per-view is a necessary evil. That's that's what they want. They, being the promoters, being the broadcasters, they want you to believe that boxing simply can't exist without pay-per-views, or any sports, Premiership football, whatever. Now, at the time, Uncle Frank was very indignant about this. He was saying things like, it's disgusting, it's fleecing the fans, and, what we want at Queensberry is to give the fans value for money, and all the rest of it, shoulder rolling and the dent in the fucking head and all that business. And then, of course, once he moved over to BT Sports, which became TNT Sports, or whatever it's called, and he got hold of Tyson Fury, suddenly Tyson Fury, on all sorts of pay-per-views, which, to put it mildly, were farcically poor quality, suddenly, old Uncle Frank, he's fine with pay-per-view. It's got to be done, isn't it? We got to pay Tyson. We've got to pay them the money if you want them. If you want to see these fights, you've got to put your hand in your pocket again on top of your subscription. Of course you have, right? And then along comes DAZN. Eddie Hearn jumped ship. DAZN, with Hearn leading the battle cry, says this is the death of pay-per-view. DAZN is going to be the Netflix of boxing and blah, blah, and all that bullshit, And, sure enough, they started introducing pay-per-views. Well, why am I mentioning all this? Because now that Warren and Queensberry are with DAZN, the pay-per-view thing is going to get worse and worse and worse. And it was announced, I don't know whether it's been confirmed or whether it's a rumour, because I am actually a DAZN subscriber. I never buy pay-per-views, but I'm a DAZN subscriber, that the Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte fight, or that card, could be on pay-per-view. A novice, we also got 11 fights, 9 KOs, I think, against if he's not shot, then he's damn close to it, old contender. Pay-per-view. Are you serious? Because when DAZN announced that they were going to backtrack on their no pay-per-view policy, and left Mr. Hearn with a, face like a Belisha beacon, or maybe covered all in egg. Don't mention eggs, Conor Ben and all that. But yeah, suddenly pay-per-views were going to become, the necessary evil for DAZN as well. So as a subscriber, I even got this sort of questionnaire I had to fill out. Well, I didn't have to fill it out, but I did. What would you consider a reasonable price? What do you think it was? What do you think pay-per-view? When do you think pay-per-view is justified? And all these sort of questions that I had to fill out. And then we now have a situation where we've now gone to the absolute ridiculous length where pay-per-view suddenly has never been worse. Because lo and behold, who promotes Moses Itauma? And who has arranged the Dillian Whyte fight, and whose fighters are going to be on the undercard of this pay-per-view extravaganza? Frank Warren. We shouldn't be surprised about this, because he proved what an absolute stinking hypocrite he is with those awful, God almighty, Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora 3, Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte. Do you remember those undercards? Pay-per-view, those two garbage fights. And one of them, I think, was a record price, like 26 quid. I mean, I didn't pay for it, but I watched the fights, but I didn't pay for it. But, value for money, innit? They're ripping off the fans, and suddenly you get to the other side of the fence, Frank, and, the old moral compass starts spinning, doesn't it? Starts pointing in the other direction. Mm-hmm. We know what you're up to. Not that I have any time for any of the promoters, really. I mean, Hearn never really apologised for reneging on the whole, pay-per-view is dead, DAZN will end pay-per-view mantra. He's never apologised for that. And of course, when DAZN did concede that they are going to do pay-per-views, well, what happened there then? Well, what's going to happen is it'll only be for special fights. It'll only be for the big blockbuster extravaganzas. What, like Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte? You seriously telling me that is pay-per-view worthy? I mean, even if you say that even if you're someone, I'm not, but even if you're someone who says, well, pay-per-view is sometimes I'm prepared to pay for it. I mean, some people buy them all. I can go more fool them. But even if you're one of those people that concedes pay-per-view is a legitimate necessity, are you really going to buy? Are you really going to buy that? Really? A novice against a washed-up fighter? I just despair. I really do. And there was also. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a lot of Frank Warren's up-and-comers. I mean, Hamza Shiraz and is it Berlangri's fighting, isn't it? I wonder about that. What about some of Nick Ball's stuff? Is Nick Ball going to one day have a pay-per-view? Let's say he was to fight a new. I'm just putting names out of my head here, but would that be a pay-per-view thing? Anything involving an Inoue? Would that be? Nah, it's all crap. It's all. And before any of you start saying, well, pay-per-view is a necessary evil, to get back to that phrase, well, it is not the only business model out there. Look at what, I hate mentioning the guy's name because his boxing career is a farce, but Jake Paul and Netflix, what MVP have done with Netflix. I mean, how many subscribers have Netflix got? How many hundreds of millions of subscribers have Netflix got? You stick a boxing card on there, lo and behold, there's no pay-per-view wall, but you're a subscriber to Netflix and you're a boxing fan and you're getting it. You're getting it, quote unquote free. It's not free because you're paying your subscription, but there isn't a fucking paywall in front of you. So there are different models. Don't buy into the idea that pay-per-view is, that we can't do things without pay-per-view. I hate this attitude. There are other ways of doing things, and one way is to pay the elite fighters less money. Is anybody seriously going to argue that Canelo Alvarez, whatever money, I don't know whether he got 50 million, 100 million, I have no idea what the exact figure was, for that pathetic, plodding, creaking performance against that scared rabbit, William Skull? Was that on pay-per-view? I don't do pay-per-view, so I don't know. But what? He deserved that money, did he? All that money that he got? Don't make me laugh. And how much money does one boxer need anyway? How much money does Tyson Fury need? Usyk, AJ? I'm absolutely opposed to this. So anyway, let me know what you think about Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte on pay-per-view. I wonder what you're going to say. Leave your comments below. Thanks a lot for listening. Like the video if you liked it. Hit the subscribe button. Help the channel out. Much appreciated. I always appreciate your support, and I'll get you later. Bye for now.